Blue Sharks in historic waters, Cape Verde's first World Cup. You don't need a population of millions to write your name into football's holy book. Sometimes, a tiny archipelago of 10 volcanic islands, alone in the Atlantic, 500 kilometers from anywhere, can bring its biggest dream roaring to life. This is Cape Verde, the Blue Sharks, arriving at their first ever World Cup, ready to prove that the size of a nation is not measured in square kilometers, but in the size of its heart. For decades, the idea of Cape Verde at a World Cup was a fantasy whispered by fishermen to the sea. They weren't even a FIFA member until 1985. The 2026 World Cup qualifiers, Africa's Group D. Opposite them stood Cameroon, the indomitable Lions, 8-time World Cup participants, a continent's perennial giant. Every prediction, every expert, every model had Cameroon marching through. But the Blue Sharks had a different instinct. Game by game, they advanced. No $100 million superstars, just heart, tactical discipline, and a devastating speed that tore through defensive lines. When the final whistle blew on the last match day, the table spoke a truth no one expected.
Back to the Raptors for the occasion.
Cape Verde, above Cameroon. Group winners, direct qualification. They became one of just 4 debutants at the 2026 tournament, alongside Uzbekistan, Jordan, and Curaçao. The biggest shock of the African qualifiers had been delivered. The tiny islands had toppled a giant. Behind this revolution stands a 56-year-old man who has become more than a coach. He's the architect of a nation's footballing soul, Pedro Leitao Brito, known simply as Bubista. For over 6 years on Cape Verde's bench, he has forged a philosophy that transcends individual talent. Bubista has built a team that knows exactly who they are. His 4-3-1-2 system is a weapon of pace. Daylon Livramento, the lone striker, constantly bursts behind opposition defenses like a shark drawn to blood. Fullbacks invert into midfield. Wingers hug the touchline, stretching enemies thin. And behind it all, pulling every invisible string, is Jamiro Monteiro, the team's quiet, calculating brain. This team isn't just young and fearless, it is seasoned by years in the deep blue. Captain Ryan Mendes. At 34, the winger is Cape Verde's all-time top scorer and record appearance holder, the symbol of a generation that refused to give up. Behind him, veteran goalkeeper Vozinha, a wall built of experience. Stopira, the defensive warrior who has battled across European leagues, marshals the backline. In midfield, Kevin Pina and Jamiro Monteiro dictate the tempo, one the fire, the other the ice. And up front, the trident of Gary Rodriguez, Will Semedo, and Giovane Cabral possesses a speed that will haunt any defender's nightmares. Then came the final warm-up, a friendly in Lisbon. Cape Verde against Serbia, a European nation with World Cup pedigree and muscle. The football world expected a tight, competitive test. What they witnessed was a declaration of intent. The 11th minute, Kevin Pina fires Cape Verde ahead. The 59th, Leroy Duarte makes it 2. 4 minutes later, the 63rd minute, Gilson Benchimol finishes the job. 3 goals, a clean sheet, an organized, lethal, breathtaking performance. The message was not subtle, it was a roar across the Atlantic. Cape Verde have not come to North America just to take part. They have come to hunt. But the draw? The draw had no mercy. Group H, Spain. The champions of Europe, La Roja, a generation of artists led by young kings. Uruguay, 2-time world champions, a golden era burning one last flame. And Saudi Arabia, Asia's relentless challengers, 2 former world champions in one group of 4. On paper, Cape Verde progressing looks like a fairy tale too far, but if we have learned anything about this team, it's that the word impossible has no place in the vocabulary of these islands. They already hunted the Cameroonian lion, they already dismantled Serbia. Now, the bigger the giant, the deeper the water. The Blue Sharks are exactly where they want to be. Cape Verde are not just a debutant, they are a symbol of the game's simplest, most beautiful truth. Football dreams are not measured by a census. From overcoming Cameroon in the furnace of qualifying to dismantling Serbia in Lisbon, the Blue Sharks have proven that in these vast global waters, they too are predators. The first chapter is about to be written. Alright guys, now it's your turn. What do you think? Can Cape Verde survive the group of death? Can they shock Spain or Uruguay? Drop your predictions in the comments. Like, subscribe, see you in the next video.